Good morning, everybody. Myself, Acharya Vishvendra, and today I'm going to discuss a video on heuristics or the mental shortcuts, which are of very significant role in preparing for your competitive exams like JEE and NEET. So let's begin with things. So here is the concept of heuristics, or which we call as the mental shortcuts. To understand the concept of heuristics, let's first uh, do a thought experiment. Suppose there are two students, student A and student B. Suppose you give both of them a question to solve. A student A is very quick to solve the problem, and within a fraction of minutes or fraction of seconds is able to arrive at the solution, that this is solution of this particular question. While another student is trapped in thoughts and is not able to solve the question. He is just trapped in thoughts, thinking, contemplating, comprehending, analyzing, but is unable to arrive at the result, the answer. So why is the difference? Difference is because of the use of heuristics. This student A has developed certain sort of mental shortcuts or the heuristics. So he uses a random pattern. He just chooses certain specific part of the entire process, which are optimized for the result, optimized as per the answers. But the second student, he uses the process, and in that process there are a lot of complex algorithms. There is a lot of energy, energy issues there. So ultimately he is trapped in those complexities and is unable to come out at the conclusion because his energy gets vanished in the complex algorithms. So that is how heuristics they prove to be a very beneficial tool to produce the desired output. Let's understand this with the help of a question. Suppose you are being given a question that there is a sphere, and on that you apply a force F at a height of h from the center of mass, and you need to find the friction applied by the ground for pure rolling. So the student A who use heuristic, he will just use the to the point information that friction is equal to this, and he'll bypass every algorithm, every complexity in the process. So that is why he is so quick in answering the question. Whereas student B will analyze the problem starting from the fundamentals. So first of all, he will write the equation of force equation. Net force is equal to mass into acceleration of center of mass. Then he will write torque equation. Then he will write condition of pure rolling, and after manipulating all these things, he will conclude that friction is equal to this. I have omitted the complexities and the calculations in fourth step. Otherwise, it will take more than 5 to 6 steps to arrive at this result. So at all there are about 8 steps here and one step here. So it's very clear, very intuitive, that student 1 uses less information, uses only the desired information. So obviously he'll solve questions quickly. So that explains how the mind brain system of a sharp problem solver works. So let's begin things in another perspective. So here the game is about the mental shortcuts or the heuristics. Now the comes the question that how that heuristic can be developed. So suppose there is a student and he is studying about something. So studying means he is transferring some information to his mind brain system. Here is the brain of the student and here is the mind. And due to the transfer of this information, he is developing certain patterns using those information. Because if you read something, if you study something, you are just absorbing the information from that source, and there is a system inside you by virtue of which patterns are being developed. You study one thing and you have a feeling of certain sort, and when you study another thing, then you link those feelings or those patterns, that makes a sort of neural network or the network of the patterns. So in this way the patterns are developed. Now when you study something, suppose you study for 2 hours, so in those 2 hours you have developed certain patterns, let's say 50 patterns you have developed. Now the thing is that heuristic means, suppose this is the grid of patterns. After studying, suppose you develop these are about 50 patterns, and each pattern is stored in a certain way. So heuristics means accessing patterns randomly. you can access any pattern. Let's say name them 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 and so on. Now what a normal student do is that he goes sequentially. He access first pattern, then second, then third. That consumes less energy. You are more comfortable with that, but at the same time it consumes more time. It is less efficient and often traps you in thoughts, and you are unable to conclude to come to the result. So heuristics means using the mind brain system to access any pattern randomly which is only required for solving a particular question. For example, in this particular question, only this information is sufficient to solve it. So if you are able to solve this question, then you don't need to bear the brunt of complex processes, calculations and all that. So that is why only certain specific students are able to produce optimized result by working for the same hours. So it's not the number of hours that you work, it is the use of the patterns, the use of heuristics, and which is a very complex task, and it requires a significant amount of time, patience, willpower, you know many things are required. But once you develop a system of heuristics, then you are very sharp at the problem solving skills. So the thing is that what this student did is that he just used random patterns or the mental shortcuts or the heuristics, and that's why he's so fast. Now here comes the question that can a student who is not that efficient be trained in a certain way to be more efficient? The answer is yes. Just work on the mind brain algorithms of the student. Just make him learn the process of using heuristics, the process of using things randomly, instead of going sequentially. So if the student can be trained to think randomly, then certainly his problem solving skills will improve, his problem solving will improve, his time will reduce, his speed will increase, accuracy will increase. So this is the the purpose behind making this video, that to make sure that students can be trained on the exact neural processes, the neural level processes which is needed to perform optimally in the exams. So let's now talk about the statistics of JEE and NEET. So as per JEE and NEET is concerned, there are about 6,000 A4 pages. Exam comes from 25 to 30 pages. So out of 200 page, only one page is significant, and there are patterns involved in that. In JEE and NEET, there are three subjects: physics, chemistry, maths, and physics, chemistry, bio. And there are about 30,000 patterns per subject on an average. So there are a total of 90,000 patterns. And if you want to achieve good results in exam, then you have to at least master 60 to 70% of the patterns. That's all. So if you are looking for an average rank for an average college, average IIT or NIT or MBBS college, then first of all you have to master 60,000 patterns, at least 60 to 70,000 patterns. And these patterns can be developed by working gradually, working systematically, by eliminating the emotional issues, the conflicts, and finally arriving at the conclusion. So this video is just made with the purpose to give students an exposure of how your mind brain system works, what is the actual process, and what is the different uh, the pattern used by the students who are able to qualify the competitive exams with ease. Because nobody talks about it, everybody is concerned about the result, but nobody is concerned with how to train an average student to be a good performer. And I think that is the task of a teacher. If a student is good, he is sharp, so anybody can teach him, he'll always top. Doesn't matter who teach it, which institute he got enrolled in, which teacher used to teach him. If he is clear with the mind brain systems, or more generally with the frequencies of the mind brain system, then he don't need much of attention. But there is a challenge with those students who are not that sharp, who have not that developed mind brain system, and I think that is the only task of the teacher. So I just work with this vision. The task of teacher is to develop the neural patterns, or training the students to develop the neural patterns, and then they can do things themselves. There is no need of any guidance or any lecture or anything like that. So that is how I made these videos. So I think these are the optimization tools to improve your mind brain system and achieve optimal results in life. Thank you and have a nice day.